the world, and she shattered it. A man with a broken heart doesn't scream. He sinks, silently. How many men have lived this story, praying for a woman, believing love is some divine magic, only to watch their dreams collapse in slow motion? How many ignored the warnings? One man tried to speak the truth almost 200 years ago. His name was Arthur Schopenhauer, and he dared to say what most men still refuse to hear. He warned them about the illusions of love and the true nature of romantic obsession. But his words fell on deaf ears. Until now. Romantic love. We're told it's life's greatest treasure. From boyhood, men are fed tales of knights and princesses, soulmates and happily ever afters. We dive in head first, hearts on fire, convinced that the woman in front of us is an angel sent to complete us. Love songs, films, poetry, endless glorification. When we're not in love, we're chasing it. When we are, we're consumed. And when it ends, we break. Love hijacks our conversations, our sleep, our sanity. How can something that feels so sacred be such a lie? Schopenhauer asked the same thing in his time. Why all the chaos? Why the heartbreak, the longing, the madness? Why should this be the thing that distorts a man's life so violently? He didn't dismiss it. He leaned in, and his answer was clear. This is no small thing. The price of love is the highest in human experience. The dramas of love, ecstasy, jealousy, despair, they are this intense because something much deeper is at stake. According to Schopenhauer, every love story, whether comic or tragic, has one hidden purpose: the continuation of life itself. That's why it feels like heaven or hell. This is why men have moved mountains, written eras into history, and even ignited wars for love. Schopenhauer noticed something chilling. Entire nations have been sacrificed on the altar of romance. Why? Because deep down, we sense something primal is at stake. But what exactly? To answer that, Schopenhauer tore the veil off romance and exposed the force hiding behind our passions. His philosophy offered a shocking interpretation of romantic love. Beneath the poetry and perfume, love is not magic. It's a biological trap. According to Schopenhauer, every living being is driven by an irrational, unstoppable force he called the will to life, an instinct to survive and reproduce. This will doesn't care about art, justice, or even your personal happiness. It cares only about life perpetuating itself, and it will drag you through heaven and hell to fulfill that goal. In Schopenhauer's words, romantic love is simply the puppet of the will to life. We believe our love is sacred, personal, and profound. But in truth, it's nature's sweet illusion, meant to trick us into fulfilling our biological mission. Love, he said, is bait. Reproduction is the ultimate aim of every organism and its strongest instinct. So when you fall madly in love, when you become obsessed with her, it's not fate. It's instinct evaluating whether she'd make a good mother to your children. As terrifying as that sounds, nature doesn't care about your fairy tale ending. It just wants the next generation. Schopenhauer paints a brutal picture: the individual versus the species. The genius of the species is in constant conflict with the genius of the individual, he wrote. It will sacrifice your happiness without hesitation to secure its goal. Think about that. The same force that makes you feel euphoric in love will destroy you the moment you are no longer useful. Every promise of forever. Nature will break them the second they become irrelevant. In this war, nothing is sacred, not even deception. Schopenhauer reveals the core of nature's strategy: illusion. Nature doesn't negotiate. It manipulates. It reaches its goals by tricking the individual into thinking that what benefits the species also benefits them. This illusion, he wrote, is instinct. In simple terms, we're being used. We chase what the species needs, believing it's what we want. We think we're pursuing personal love and joy, but in reality, we're offering ourselves to the immortal hunger of life itself, at the cost of our own fulfillment. It's a brutal realization, that great romantic rush, the feeling that you've found your missing half. It was never about your happiness. It was nature's bait. A setup designed to pull you into union, to produce a child. And once the job is done, the illusion collapses. The illusion necessarily vanishes, Schopenhauer wrote, once the species has achieved its aim. How many marriages have lived this truth? The passion fading after a child is born. Relationships cracking under the weight of unmet expectations. The flame dies, and what's left is silence. The devil's laughter, he said, is heard after the act of love. In that post-romantic clarity, we feel something strange, an emptiness, a shadow of sadness. Even science has tried to name it post-coital dysphoria, a wave of despair after sex, reported more often by men than women. To Schopenhauer, it's no mystery. That's the will pulling away, letting you glimpse the truth for a moment. You served nature's purpose, and now you sit there thinking, what was I chasing? The illusion fades, the aftermath remains. And if love is an illusion used by nature, what then of women? Schopenhauer's view was unapologetic, even controversial. He saw women as instruments of the will, designed not just to reproduce, but to lure and bind men into nature's trap. It's an unsettling picture, but that was Schopenhauer's mission, to reveal the truths we don't want to face. Nature, he claimed, arms every creature according to its purpose, and for women, the strategy is devastatingly effective. He wrote that young women are endowed with a few short years of overwhelming beauty and charm, paid for with the rest of their lives. Why? So that during this brief window, they can enchant a man so thoroughly that he's compelled to bind himself to her for life. A man, mesmerized by her radiance, rushes to care for her, to protect her, to provide without hesitation. Schopenhauer's verdict is cold. This is a decision no man would make if he truly stopped to think. No man in his right mind, he argues, would willingly take on the burden of family, marriage, and sacrifice unless he was under a spell. And nature knows how to cast it well. Once the job is done, once the next generation is secured, nature pulls back. The magic fades. The woman once radiant and irresistible now becomes, in Schopenhauer's words, not only useless to nature's task, but dangerous to it. He saw post-reproductive femininity not as an evolution, but as abandonment. Nature had extracted what it needed and walked away. His view of women was unapologetically reductive. He claimed they were more childlike, present-focused, immersed in the trivial and the immediate. They live in the moment, avoid abstraction, mistake appearance for essence, and prioritize the insignificant over the essential, he wrote. Men, by contrast, mature later, but grow into reason, capable of building principles, planning across time, and reflecting on past and future. So what happens when a rational man falls in love? He loses that reason. The will clouds his vision. The illusion overtakes him. Ironically, Schopenhauer observed, it's often the woman, portrayed as emotional, who remains more sober in judgment. She negotiates, she measures, she adapts. He falls. she observes. Women see a man for what he is and what he can offer. They evaluate, they measure, they choose based on instinct, practicality, survival. But the man in love, he doesn't see at all. His vision is fogged with fire. Schopenhauer wrote that while women see exactly what is there, men, if their passion is triggered, begin to exaggerate, idealize, project. He assigns virtues she never claimed. He elevates her to goddess status. He sees flaws but calls them quirks. He mistakes indifference for mystery, control for depth, beauty for purity. He falls under a spell, while she perhaps is simply choosing a reliable future provider. He lives inside a dream. She stands in pragmatic reality. And that imbalance is what sets the stage for deep disappointment. Schopenhauer didn't just stop at analysis. He went further, tying these differences back to nature's blueprint. Because women are physically weaker, he argued, nature didn't equip them with strength or justice. Instead, it armed them with cunning. Nature, he said, gave women not raw power, but deception, a kind of adaptive camouflage, an instinctual drive to bend perception in their favor. Their constant tendency to lie, he wrote, is not malice, it is nature's tool. It's not that women consciously plot, it's that nature uses them as instruments to fulfill its agenda. Men, on the other hand, endowed with stronger reason, developed a deeper sense of justice, honor, and abstract moral thinking. Men expect loyalty to be mutual, that sacrifice should be recognized, that agreements will be kept. These are male assumptions, built from a mind that thinks in ideals and principles. But nature doesn't think in principles, it thinks in outcomes. Schopenhauer believed that women don't share the same moral earnestness as men, because, according to him, their role in survival never required it. He famously wrote that the fundamental flaw in the female character is a lack of a sense of justice, truth, honor, integrity. These, he claimed, are principles that a woman may set aside when her instincts or interests demand it. Whether we agree or not, consider what this means for a man who has deeply invested himself in romantic ideals. He sees his beloved as an angel, pure, loyal, virtuous. He projects onto her his own capacity for sacrifice. She would never hurt me, he thinks. She's not like the others. And yet how often do we see men blindsided by infidelity, stunned by coldness in divorce, or broken by emotional manipulation? Schopenhauer would say this isn't tragedy, it's predictability. A man lowers his guard in the haze of love, forgetting that nature, not sentiment, sets the rules of the game. The woman, consciously or not, follows the script nature gave her: secure resources, protection, survival. If that means withdrawing affection or breaking a promise when it no longer benefits her, so be it. The naive man is devastated. I never thought she could do this to me, he says. But he didn't see her. He saw his own projection. This is the dark portrait Schopenhauer painted. It's not romantic, it's not polite, it's brutal. But as he would argue, reality isn't hidden. And seeing reality clearly, even when it's ugly, is better than living a beautiful lie. If you know what to do with the truth. With this philosophy in mind, it's no surprise that men fall into trap after trap when it comes to love. They pedestalize women. They idealize them. Under the intoxication of love, a man exaggerates her virtues, ignores her flaws, and convinces himself she's different, she's perfect. But that idealization is the first trap. The illusion nature needs you to fall for. He's no longer in love with a real person. He's in love with an illusion of his own creation. And when reality arrives, It feels like betrayal. Schopenhauer's question is simple but piercing. Can you see her as a person, not as an angel? Recognize this tendency to project perfection for what it is, a delusion born from your own passion. Love is often called blind for a reason. Schopenhauer compared it to a drug. It dulls your judgment. It silences your intellect. A man who is usually rational may make absurd, reckless decisions under the spell of romance. Marry too quickly, abandon his responsibilities, trust someone he barely knows. This madness is nature's way of pushing him forward, toward reproduction. Schopenhauer's warning is clear. When you're madly in love, you are not thinking straight. That's not weakness, it's biology. But knowing that gives you power. Important decisions should wait until the fog clears. Otherwise, you may trade your entire life for a feeling that will fade. Men often sacrifice their dreams, friendships, and even dignity to keep a woman's affection. They change their path, abandon hobbies, spend money, believing it's love. And yes, commitment matters. But to lose yourself entirely is a trap. Nature doesn't care if you fulfill your purpose. It only cares if you reproduce. Schopenhauer's warning, don't surrender everything to the illusion. A man must protect his sense of self, his mission, outside the relationship. Because when the illusion collapses, you may find you have nothing left. And then comes the final mistake. Believing in the myth of equal devotion, a man assumes that if he is loyal, loving, and self-sacrificing, she will be the same. But if Schopenhauer is right, men and women love differently. He may love with idealistic devotion, she may love more practically, driven by what is useful for her and the child she might one day bear. When circumstances shift, when he loses status, or she finds a better provider, her feelings may shift too. And the man who believed in unconditional love is left shattered, asking how could she do this? Schopenhauer's warning is cold and precise. Don't assume the person you love operates under the same philosophical loyalty you do. Instinct can override feeling. Be realistic. Love may be sincere, but it's often conditional. Then comes the blindness to beauty. Men are notoriously vulnerable to visual allure. Many have walked into ruin, led by nothing more than a beautiful face. Schopenhauer reminds us, beauty is borrowed, a temporary snare nature uses to drive the will. A man who marries purely for appearance will eventually mourn, because beauty fades, and if nothing deeper was there, what remains? But nature counts on that blindness. In youth's summer, desire clouds reason. Schopenhauer says, admire beauty, but do not be destroyed by it. If you bind yourself to something that must vanish, regret is inevitable. Look deeper, or be ready for disillusionment when time does its work. Then there's emotional dependency, perhaps the most dangerous trap of all. Men who make a woman the center of their joy believe, without her, I am nothing. But when that bond breaks, as it often does, the collapse is total. Confidence gone, social life dissolved, mental stability fractured. Schopenhauer, ever the pessimist about happiness, would say, no one should build their will to live on another human being. Love, but do not lose yourself. Hold your independence of mind and heart. Because if your entire world revolves around her, the day she leaves, and she will, through change or death, your world collapses. Nature wants you to feel like you can't live without her. That's how it keeps you playing the game. But you can live, and you must be prepared to. These traps catch even the best of us, and they all share one root. Illusion. Illusions about who she is, what love will give you, and who you become under its spell. Schopenhauer's philosophy doesn't gently dismantle those illusions. It crushes them. It doesn't show love as we wish it were, but as it is. And in that harsh clarity, there is power, if you choose to claim it. This is a lot to take in. It's dark, it's heavy. You may feel anger, denial, or sadness hearing these things. But Schopenhauer didn't write to make you hate women. And this video doesn't exist to feed resentment. It's here to wake you up. Imagine pulling someone from a beautiful dream because the house is on fire. Yes, the dream was lovely, but if you stay asleep, you'll burn. So what now? Should you avoid women, avoid love, live in cynical isolation? Schopenhauer chose bachelorhood and intellectual detachment. He admired monks and sages, those who renounced desire altogether, as the truly wise. But that doesn't mean you must follow the same path. You must find your own. The purpose of this philosophical reckoning isn't to tell you not to love. It's to ensure that if you do, or if you don't, you're seeing clearly. You know what love is. You know what it isn't. And you choose with full awareness. The empowering truth is this: romantic love is not a divine magic sent to complete you. It is a powerful instinct, one that can uplift or destroy, depending on your ignorance of its nature. Women are not goddesses, nor are they demons. They are human beings, driven by the same natural imperatives as men. Your happiness is not nature's concern. Its concern is survival, reproduction, continuation. Once you understand this, you gain something rare: clarity. And with clarity, you stop chasing illusions. You stop being ruled by dreams, and you begin to live with your eyes open. No more blind idealization. You see your partner as a real person, not a fantasy, not a savior. You recognize your intense emotions as part of a biological movement, not divine destiny. And that awareness allows you to keep your mind intact even when your heart burns. Balance. You can love someone and build a life with them, but you won't abandon your purpose, your dignity, or your identity. You won't let love consume your logic. You'll remain rooted, steady, whole. Caution. You'll be careful with commitments, marriage, children. These are not emotional decisions. They alter your life permanently. You won't rush into them out of impulse or societal pressure. You'll ask, is this what I truly want? Or what my biology or culture told me to want? Resilience. If love ends or betrayal strikes, yes, it will hurt. But it won't shatter you. You won't collapse as if the universe imploded. You'll understand. This is part of the human condition. You'll feel it, you'll learn, and then you'll rebuild, stronger, wiser, no longer fooled by the same illusion twice. Direction without being trapped in endless cycles of obsession, without needing love to feel whole. You'll have time and energy for what truly matters: creative work, brotherhood, inner growth, spiritual exploration. Like Schopenhauer, you'll begin to pour your vitality into pursuits that offer deeper meaning than chasing romantic highs. His final message isn't hatred, it's awakening. It's as if he's grabbing men by the shoulders and saying, look around, see the world as it is. Don't be a slave to a game you didn't even realize you were playing. Yes, the truth is cold. Yes, it hurts to admit that what we worshipped might be an evolutionary trick. But there's power in that clarity. If love is a game nature plays, you can learn the rules. You can choose how or if you want to play. You can still choose to marry. You can still have children. But you'll do it with your eyes open, fully aware of what it means, fully aware of the cost, no longer thinking it's a fairy tale. You'll understand that you're fulfilling a biological current, not stepping into eternal bliss. Or you may choose another path. Maybe relationships without legal bindings. Maybe seasons of celibacy to redirect your energy inward. Maybe a conscious partnership, one built on mutual understanding, not illusion. The point is, once you've awakened, you're no longer being dragged blindly down a path carved by instinct. You're in the driver's seat now. Schopenhauer is often called a pessimist, and yes, he believed that by seeing through life's illusions, including love, we don't find happiness exactly, but we find something else, relief, like a man walking away from a foolish charade. It's not joy, it's liberation, not the promise of paradise, but the removal of false hope, the kind that leads only to pain. And maybe that's the first step toward something real, meaning built on truth, not fantasy. Peace born not from illusion, but from clarity. Now we return to the heartbroken man. Maybe he's someone you know. Maybe he's you, the one who gave everything for love and was left broken. The question now is, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you go back to sleep, into the dream? Will you repeat the cycle of infatuation and despair, letting nature burn through your life again? Or will you heed the warning Schopenhauer left and finally step out of the spell? Men. Schopenhauer didn't whisper, he shouted. Don't let his warning fall on deaf ears again. The next time you find yourself enchanted by a beautiful face or overtaken by sudden passion, remember this truth. Remember, something ancient and impersonal is working inside you. Pause. Let your reason sit at the table with your desire, and protect yourself from the traps you now know by name. This doesn't mean you can't love, but love with eyes open, love without delusion. If you choose to enter romance, do it as a conscious player in the game, not a pawn. And if you choose to walk away, let it be with strength and wisdom, not bitterness or fear. In the end, Schopenhauer offered brutal clarity as a gift, not to make you cold, but to make you see. Yes, it's a gift wrapped in cynicism, but it can save a man from ruin. It can turn heartbreak into knowledge. The truth will set you free, but first, it will shatter you. Wake up, brothers. See women as they are, beautiful mortals, driven by nature, not mystical goddesses. See love for what it is, real in feeling, but ultimately a tool of nature's design. And most importantly, see yourself, not as a lovesick fool at the mercy of biology, but as a man who can rise above it through understanding. Schopenhauer rang the alarm in his time. Few listened. They called him bitter, misogynistic, joyless, but look around. Broken families, disillusioned men, confusion and suffering in the ruins of romance. His words echo louder now than ever. We ignore them at our peril. Yes, the illusion is powerful, but now you have the antidote, knowledge, truth. Brutal, but freeing. The rest is your decision. Will you be led by the nose of instinct, or will you seize the reins of your own fate? Schopenhauer left us with one chilling thought. If men truly acted with reason instead of illusion, would the human race even continue? He thought, probably not. Maybe it's too much to ask that all men abandon the dream. Nature's pull is strong. But even if we don't become monks, we can become wiser. Let Schopenhauer's voice live in your head as the whisper of truth when you need it most. It's a trick. Step back. Let your clarity be your armor. Let reason protect you from emotional ruin, and in that, his warning won't have been wasted. Men, you've been warned. Now wake up and choose your path with open eyes. Will you heed the call, or will the siren song of nature drag you back into the dream? Comment below. I choose clarity over illusion. Let it be your anchor. Let it be your line in the sand. If this video opened your eyes, share it with the men who need to hear it. Subscribe to Beyond the Shadow for more raw philosophy and honest insight. Thank you for watching.